Going live? That's right, we're going live on Facebook and YouTube. Is that working? It's like literally destroying the tip of this though. Come on now, we can do better than this, Crystal.
Okay, come on. You hold it.
Oh god. Almost did it.
Maybe at an angle?
It's almost doing it. We have to do this. Facebook and YouTube. Is that working? It's like literally destroying. Oh, Joss, we got the feedbacks. We got the feedbacks. Oh, jeez. Okay, it looks like we are now live on the internet. Welcome everybody to the Outcast Podcast. I'm Z to the other, the FPV. Joined with me is Crystal Hess, my flying buddy and I guess apprentice, my co-host of the podcast.
I am. The Muse, the apprentice.
And we've got live music in the background provided by a Megalodon 66. Is it 66? What's your handle, Will?
Megalodon 77.
77!
Close.
So close. But yeah, we are live here in the Outcast Studios. I can see your questions on our YouTube feed. We're also up on Facebook at our Outcast Droneworks Facebook page. And today is a very special day because we're starting an all-new podcast just for stuff that I want to talk about and stuff relating to drones, technology, and hacking. And today is kind of special because it is the first time that we've done this. I'm kind of anxious because we are in a brand new studio. Behind me is my actual day-to-day workbench here at Outcast Droneworks here in San Diego, California. And we're surrounded by tons of lights, cameras, action, all the fun stuff. And there really isn't a lot of podcasts that are laid out like this. I mean, you have, at least drone stuff. Most drone podcasts, have a bunch of Zoom meeting stuff or Google Hangouts. This is live. There's no internet connections. This is just here in the studio or out in the field. So thank you all for joining us. If you have any questions, let us know in the chat. But yeah, what do you think we're going to be talking about today?
Drones.
Drones?
I'm here to learn. Zoe's the master. I'm here to learn about drones. I've been starting to get into it, so.
Yeah. So I guess.
Pick your brain. I want to
pick my brain.
What's in there?
So for those that don't know, I've been working with Crystal now for about a year. We've become really, really good friends. And she is getting into the world of drones, I think. A little bit slow. I mean, she has all the...
Real slow.
You have all the help that you've really wanted. And today was the first day that she actually built her first drone.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, it's the Microhawk
from Outcast Droneworks.
Yeah, so this is actually a kit that I've been working on now for about 7-ish months. Developing out the battery technology. It's a 2.5-inch build that flies for about 20 minutes, which is pretty impressive considering you generally get about 3 minutes of flight out, something like that. And it has a lot of other interesting stuff. We've got build outs that have full GPS autonomy, a Raspberry Pi Zero, so you can do interesting missions and whatnot. But yeah, it's cool. This is kind of the debut of the Microhawk on my channel because I've talked about it a lot on my social medias, but I have not actually made videos with it because I wanted to kind of perfect it before we bring it to the peoples.
Is it perfected?
Almost.
What's left?
So right now with the Microhawk, the Raspberry Pi, we're working on an API to interface the Raspberry Pi with the flight controller, which will allow you to write Python scripts and missions to interact with the Pi and the flight controller. So say you can use the Pi for interactive missions. The Pi can run an HD camera, and from there you can do object detection and actually have the drone fly via object detection and quote-unquote AI. So that's the end goal with it. Right now, though, we have full autonomy, or at least what I consider full autonomy. With the GPS and missions, you can send it away into the horizon, flying on its own without, a a pilot's input.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so, that's kind of what we're working on. And just a heads up, hey, Stevo43068, VHF Gamer in chat, we got Jason Peters, XJet, woo, we got XJet, woo! XJet asked, I should review one, eh? Yes, you should. When we have some extra kits in, we definitely want you to review it if you're up for it, XJet. I would love to see you get this thing in your hands and actually give it a go. That would warm my heart. For those that don't know, like, I've been watching XJet for a long time. He's one of the guys that got me into drones in the first place. I didn't know how to solder before I watched his videos. So it would be my absolute honor for him to get one of these, even if he doesn't review it, just to play around with something that I've helped bring to the world. And yeah, I'm talking a lot. We had sparklers. Obviously, that didn't work. So we tried using a, what was it?
A taser!
Let's see if we can start. Oh, God.
Is it on?
Oh, wait, no, it's not on.
That'll probably help. Heat.
We're trying to, this is just like a little side thing.
Yeah, some science work.
Yeah, scientifically, we're trying to start this,
Sparkler.
it's still heating up.
What are you gonna heat it up to? The solder
400.
iron? 400 Celsius. Pretty hot.
It's burning.
Oh god,
Something's
it's gonna
happening.
blow up in your face.
That'd be good TV. Yeah, screw it.
I have fire.
So that failed. So today I learned you can't start a sparkler with a soldering iron.
This is for America. Ah!
Woo! Welcome to the show, everybody. Again, just fireworks, some actual. What?
Put it out.
Corona. No, put it in the Corona.
Don't put it in my Corona.
My Corona.
Amen.
So I guess this is the start to the podcast.
Oh. Fire.
Fire bad. Fire burn, baby.
No.
So yeah, now it's official party. I feel a little stiff because it's the first time we've done it.
Yeah.
And honestly,
it's all too many lights.
What?
We should wear sunglasses.
I wear my sunglasses at night.
Okay.
Deal with it.
This is better.
Oh, this is so awkward right now. To everyone that thinks this is stupid, I agree with you.
Amen.
But yeah, so this is kind of chill. Every podcast, we're trying to aim for about an hour long. We don't want to go very, very long. We don't want to, extend it past, point of interest. And obviously this is the first one, so it's going to be a little awkward to say the very least. Oh, hey! Another one. The Outcast band is back.
I've got a friend.
Oh, hey!
Hi.
Welcome to the show. So yeah, we have a small live audience, actually, weirdly enough. Woo!
What's up, dude?
Yeah, so for those that don't know, we actually have live music in the background, as well as a dog who plays jamboree.
Bowski! Damn it, Bowski, shut
So
up.
actually, I'm curious, because I've been talking a lot, which I tend to do to try to fill air, because that's just kind of my natural on-screen personality. Crystal,
Yeah.
what do we do today? Like,
What do we? Oh my god. We did too much.
I sent you a piece of pizza again.
explain. I'm forcing you to talk.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Woo! Oh, let's do the wave.
Okay. So we built a microhawk. That was the first time I ever built a drone. I had another one that Zoe gave me from the Rotor Riot team. What is that kit?
It was called the CL1. It's a $200 5-inch drone kit. It's pretty cool. I recommend it for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a really cool drone. Was it 5-inch or?
Yeah, 5-inch. This is about half the size of 2.5-inch. Or realistically, it's a fourth the size of a 5-inch drone. A lot smaller.
Yeah. So I started building that one on New Year's Day with Zoe over in Arizona, and it failed completely.
Yeah, I drank too much Hennessy that night.
I don't want to say that, but
I'll say it.
It was a fail.
It was not great. It was a good night,
It
but
was
we couldn't get it done.
really fun throwing knives into the wall. And
I mean, I recorded all of it too.
Yeah.
I don't know if that will ever see the light of day.
it should. It really should. It's hilarious. You should see Zoe.
And cutting to a clip. Oh, we don't have that technology yet.
Oh.
But yeah, so yeah, we built.
Last week when Rotor Riot came to San Diego.
Oh yeah. So for those that don't know, if you've been watching the Rotor Riot channel, which I am now on and a part of, I had the Rotor Riot crew out here in San Diego in the workshop doing some fun episodes and hanging out. They shot 7 episodes. The first 2 have aired. Next week is going to be really cool. We went to some sand dunes and did some chasing in sand dunes with sand rails and whatnot. It was pretty cool. I did some really cool 3D stuff. I tried to plant. Oh, I'll save it for the episode. You should go watch it next week, Monday. But,
What?
The episode with sand rails next Monday on River Hill.
Ooh, Sanrio.
But yeah, so they're out here in the Outcast Droneworks workshop, and they came out Sunday, and we had a group get together, about 30 pilots out of Bando. And the drone that we failed to build in Arizona was built by the community. There's multiple people.
I asked for help, but the guys just wanted to build it for me.
No. She didn't want to build it.
I did want to help. Uh-oh. Brought to you by Corona.
Yeah, so she has her first 5-inch. Now she's going to have her first 2.5-inch. She has a whoop. So she has, like, pretty much every, I think, kind of size and category of
I don't
drone.
have an X-Class yet. I need an X-Class. There will be blood in the streets.
No. We have a couple questions in chat, actually. So, Steezy FPV, one of my favorite 3D pilots and a unicorn team pilot asks, upcoming bigger lithium-ion batteries. So for those that don't know, entertain. For those that don't know, we have been making lithium-ion batteries here in San Diego, California. A lot of you probably use lithium polymer. It's the standard drone battery. But I am a huge believer in lithium-ion.
You're a believer?
I'm a believer. I'm a Bieber believer. Like a Bieber fan.
Don't breathe in my face, though. Ew.
So we have the Outcast Droneworks 3250 mAh 2S batteries. We released this battery to market about 3.5-4 months ago. And it was intended for the Microhawk project, which is now just getting to market. Essentially, it's built for the drone and built for the Pi. And with this, we get about 20 minutes of flight time on the platform. And Steezy's wondering if we're going to build a bigger one for 4-cell and 6-cell. And the answer is yes. That was my plan to do by the end of the week, but the week kind of got away from me. So
That's exciting. When's that going to be done? Huh?
Next week?
Yeah, next week? We hope. Well, you're not going to Orlando, are you? Are you still going to Orlando?
No. So I was going to go to Orlando this weekend, but with the
president, we have a really big
coronavirus
on our hands.
Flight was canceled, which might be for the best. But yeah, this battery is about 85 grams, and again, it's about 20 minutes. On the 4 cells that I've been testing on my Unicorn, doing freestyle, I'm getting about 12 minutes for a battery twice the size, which is the same size as a regular 1300 mAh battery. So it's pretty good. But I want to do some more testing of the bigger batteries before we go out to production. So I want to know exactly what people are going to expect versus just releasing it to the public and being like, here, go have fun. But if there's enough interest, we might do that and just like this one was labeled experimental and release some experimental 4-cell and 6-cell packs for everybody. That way you guys can get your hands on it, test it out, and let us know how it works. And we don't have to worry about you guys being disappointed. Because now that we're getting a name out there, I don't want to disappoint people with bad products. It's kind of a thing. But cool, we're up to about 40 people right now. 41 people, congratulations. Thank you everybody for joining us again tonight.
Thumbs up, America, and wherever else you are from.
Oh god, Mr. Fruity Cakes asked, did Ladrib borrow your eyeliner? Funny enough, he did actually borrow my eyeliner one day when he was out here. He forgot it, and he borrowed it, I think it was...
He did?
Yeah, Wednesday night. Yeah. So, yeah,
he still owed me $5 from that day we met with him. And we made a bet that if he was wearing his eyeliner or not.
And I lost that bet.
He lost. Yeah, she didn't think that he was gonna wear it.
Yeah, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, because it looked really smoky, I didn't think Ladrib was wearing his eyeliner. But
He just has those dreamy eyes.
So dreamy. So dreamy. Oh, the dream.
Ew.
Anyways, moving on. Thank you to all that have liked the video already and are still with us after that very awkward moment of me dreaming over the drip.
Hey, France.
Yeah, Matt Derwis from France. Welcome to the stream. We got Coast to Coast Drones, Bobby Broadway. We got Steezy FPV, Ryan Van Schuven.
That's a nice name.
He's actually one of my unicorn pilots. He's really cool. Like, Ryan and Steezy actually fly 3D together. If you guys like my 3D flying, go check out their channels because they're some of the few pilots that actually post 3D footage. And Steezy has been getting really good. So is Ryan. Like, a few months ago, they were good, but, like, there's times where I watch Steezy's footage and I'm wondering, is that my footage? Because he's been able to copy my style fairly accurately. But yeah. So Mike's Camping asks, will the 4S capable batteries be capable of high burst rates or will be better for Cinedrone types? Kind of. I mean, we're not going to have the same kind of high amperage output as a lithium polymer battery, but you're still going to be able to do power loops and freestyle with it. But you're not going to have that immediate punch and spin up as a traditional lithium ion. So like full throttle with a lithium ion or lithium polymer pack takes about, a second to get to full throttle. With a lithium ion, it's going to take maybe 2 seconds. So there's going to be a little bit of delay, but the top end power will still be there. So just, heads up with that information. I am working on some interesting technologies to help make that better, which I hope to release soon. And yeah, I don't want to talk about anything that might, get leaked out into the world before we can turn it into a product. But it shouldn't be too expensive.
Nice.
But yeah, so Mr. Fruitcakes says, but there's only one 3D queen. Zoe FPV is amazeballs. Well, thank you.
Aww.
I mean, I've been flying 3D now for 4+ years. And I still feel like I have another 5 years before I master it. Like, every time I go fly...
4 years?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I've been doing 3D for a while. And back when I started, we didn't have propellers for it. We didn't have hardware for it. Like, it was really janky.
What'd you use?
Actually, my first 3D setup was a hexacopter, a 5-inch hex, and I broke 10 arms on it within a week trying to learn how to fly it. And the motors and ESCs couldn't switch fast enough, so it'd desync and fall out of the air, which was frustrating because I felt like I was getting somewhere with it, and I just kept failing. So, yeah, Matt Dursworth says 5 years. Yeah, I think it's actually 5 years now.
Jesus Christ.
Time flies.
Yeah, it does.
I'm ancient in this hobby. Yeah, 5 years ago was like right before the boom of drones, really. DRL didn't exist. We didn't have the drone racing leagues we currently have now. It wasn't on TV. And, yeah. So that's a thing. And XJet says he still has the original Wakira 3D quad. Too scared to do much with it. It's made of really thin carbon. Also, the Wakira 3D quad, for those that don't know, is absolutely terrifying. They sent me one to review, and I didn't even review it because my review of it would have been horrible. To arm the quad, you have to like hit the sticks in position, and when you go all the way down and to the right, and when it arms, the quad will like spin out of control instantly. And it was absolutely terrifying. So I didn't review that because it wouldn't be safe for people to actually use. It was sad. Wakira actually released some 3D propellers that are a little bit different than what was on the market. And yeah. I wish that they would have contacted me to do an RTF. Like, I really feel like 3D needs a ready-to-fly kit that they don't have to fuss with.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes over the questions. So, the topic of today's podcast is...
What is it, Zoe?
Getting into FPV. How I started, how Crystal started, what, flying is like initially and getting into that. And the headaches about actually getting into building drones and flying them. And choosing your FPV name. the weird thing with FPV names, and for those that are in the community or just getting into it, everyone I feel like has one. Even if it's not like Zoe FPV, you have some sort of alter ego name. A lot like hackers. Hackers have aliases, and FPV pilots tend to have aliases. So you have Schizo, Mr. Steel, Ladrib, Vortex, Nurk, although Nurk is still kind of Nurk. Paul Nurkala. So it's like a short end of his last name.
Oh, okay.
And then Zoe FPV, my first name with FPV added to it. So it's weird. Like, I feel like when you get into it, you start posting footage, you almost have to have a nickname. And Crystal and I were talking about what her nickname was going to be for the last, month and a half, 2 months now?
Yeah?
It started a while ago.
It was like less than a couple weeks ago.
That we,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I brought it up a while ago, but we didn't really start talking about it until like 2 weeks ago. And then the thing with that is, like, you want to sound cool, but you don't want to be too cool. And also there's
What's too cool?
Mr. Steel.
Is that too cool?
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, Steel's name isn't Steel. That's not his actual name. A lot of people think it is, but it's not.
It's just his porn name, no?
Yeah, dude, you should see his stuff on Pornhub. It's very good.
The gay section?
God, sorry, Steel. If you're watching that, she didn't mean that. Please don't hurt me.
He could hurt you?
In here.
Oh.
So he has another crush on Steel too?
Oh God, no. No, me and Steel kind of butted heads at one point in time, competitively. Like, I go to a competition and take it really seriously, and he wouldn't.
The tea, everybody.
The tea. This is some serious tea. And so, like, I kind of got, I don't know, slightly, like, pissed off at him because there's one competition in particular, he missed his boat because he wasn't running on time because he wants somewhere else to practice before a competition.
A real boat?
A little boat. We were in,
Okay.
we were in New York City, and we were on this island for the competition, and to get to the island, you had to take a ferry. And he actually has a vlog on this, before he went to the island, he went out with Charpu to go fly in a random spot to practice, because going to the event, we weren't going to really get practice in. And so...
By the way, I don't know who any of these people are.
He will.
Besides Drew, because I met him. Oh my God. But yeah.
I mean...
So no offense to whoever I was just saying the gay section to. Like, I did not mean that.
She meant it.
I did not mean that. Because I don't know you personally. And I have, like... This is sponsored by Corona, everybody. Like... It's not me.
Anyways.
It's Corona.
Steele didn't get to the island on time because he was practicing, and he was the first pilot scheduled to go up, and the event was kind of running behind because people weren't where they were supposed to be, and I was sitting on the pilot line for about 40 minutes before the event actually started. And so I was kind of frustrated because I made sure I was there on time and whatnot. And there's like other stuff relating to competitions, but realistically, he's a pretty good dude. Like, I like him. And it's like in the past. It's not a big deal.
She said what she said.
The tea, everybody.
She said it.
I said it.
She said it. You heard that, Kiki?
As Ekjet says, it's the booze talking.
Shock Zoe, dude, do it! Do it!
What time?
No!
Maybe at the end.
No! Shock.
Okay.
We need her! Hey, where's Bowski?
Oh my
where is
god.
Kidding, just kidding.
Where is my dog?
Bowski's quarantined. Set you up for the challenge?
Okay, so moving on with your FPV name. There's one big question. Do you add FPV to the end of your name? And I feel like if you're just getting started and you're absolutely enthralled with FPV, yeah, maybe. I feel like now FPV is kind of becoming passé a little bit. Like we had the giant surge of people getting into it, and now it's kind of going down. And a lot of FPV pilots are kind of becoming more artists. Like, they're using FPV as a way to create art. And it's not just about flying the drone, but actually creating something else behind it. And so, for instance, Westside. He used to go by Westside FPV. Westside's an amazing pilot, really cool dude, amazing editor. If you haven't seen his channel, go check it out. He would go by Westside FPV. And he dropped FPV from his name, and it's just Westside now. It's still a cool name, realistically. And so that's the biggest thing I think you have to decide. Do you want to add FPV to your monkey gear? The reason... What?
My doggy.
Oh, I thought the cops were here or something.
Cops too.
I heard sirens like, oh, we done fucked up.
There he is.
The dog,
Tell us
everybody.
more, Zoe.
So the reason why you'd want to add FPV to your name is because if you're on a search engine or if you're looking for other pilots, it's a lot easier to find on YouTube with FPV in it. So, you know, you have to kind of make that decision on your own if you want to actually include yourself within that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind
This is
of...
my dog, Armageddon FPV. Follow him.
We're trying to teach him how to fly drones.
Prince of Darkness FPV, baby.
It's fitting for the things we're going through right now in the world. Aww.
So I'm going to get back to some questions real quick, and we'll get back into FPV names. I think we covered some of the basics. So, Mike's Camping and FPV asks, how many hours do you think it took to feel comfy doing 3D? About 6 months of flying about 2 hours every other day. There weren't any videos on how to do it. There was no kind of introduction. There was nobody posting 3D footage. So for me, I kind of had to invent the wheel. And so I didn't know how to feel comfortable. And at the time, honestly, my flying skills were not nearly as good as they are now. Like, if you're a really good pilot, probably going to take you less time. I think if you're, you know, intermediate, it's going to take you maybe 20 hours in liftoff before you're feeling slightly comfortable. And 20 hours isn't too bad. And I highly recommend you try liftoff. Looking through. Dividing by Zero asks, waiting to see what your X-Class stuff turns out to be. One day.
What?
X-Class? The giant drone that I'm working on?
What was the whole question?
Waiting to see what the X-Class stuff turns out to be. Getting back into giant drones, baby. Actually, you'll see that on Rotor Ride coming up soon. At least part of it.
Can you say what else you're going to do on that video?
What? For Rotor Ride?
Yeah.
3D X-Class, baby. It reminded me of trying to fly 3D in the beginning.
Sounds terrifying.
It ended the same way, too. Would you ever do a 3D tutorial with sticks overlay? I actually have a 3D tutorial on my personal page. It's about 2 years old now. I'll probably be doing more stick overlays once I get like a stick overlay setup going. If anyone out there knows a good way of mounting a GoPro Hero 8 to a Taranis, or actually I'm using the DJI controller now, let me know, because I would love to do some more stick overlays. My Zero says, Steel may be a small guy, but he's strong as an ox. All grizzle. Let's see. More questions. Where are all the questions? John asks, hey, just getting an FPV. Got a recommendation for first quad to get or build?
Right here.
Actually, yeah. I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons why we're doing the Microhawk, is to make every person quad. A 2.5 inch, you can't really hurt yourself, even if you really try. The props leave maybe a paper cut at worst. A 5-inch quad can leave you in stitches if you're not careful.
Like my mother, because my dad flew his drone into her.
She's not kidding either. That happened.
Yes.
Watch it on his channel.
It's a thing. So, you know, starting out with something that's safe is good. I also like the Newbie Drone RTF kit. For $200, you get goggles, a transmitter, and a micro.
I really like this because of the GPS stabilization.
Yeah, if you don't know how to fly the GPS on board the Microhawk, it basically flies for you. Like, Crystal...
Which you'll see in the new Rotor Riot video coming up.
That's true.
We are flying this, testing it. We have... Who's testing it?
We had Vanover flying it, we had Nurk flying it, and Drew flying it, and then Crystal was also flying it.
And I don't know how to fly, but I had it flying.
Yeah, no, she
I flew it over a bay.
Yeah, she flew it over water and back.
And back.
And it was like her first time really flying it proper.
It was scary.
I was terrified.
Oh my gosh.
But it was also like 30-mile-an-hour wind. Too.
Oh yeah.
It was really windy that day. So, you know, having a drone that can withstand wind, can basically fly on its own. If you take your hands off the controls with the Microhawk with iNav, it flies itself. Like, you don't have to give it input. And then you can, you know, if you get scared, just let go. And also, if you want full acro, you flip a switch and automatically it flies like a normal Betaflight quad. So you have options with a kit like that. So for newbies, setting all that up is a little bit complicated, but we're working on videos on Outcast Droneworks channel to teach you how to build it, set it up, and to fly it fully autonomous. So, you know, I'm hoping that's going to allow more people to get into FPV because there's so many barriers. Like, one, building this, not easy if you've never done it. Flying it, also not easy if you've never done it.
Today we built it, and it
took 3 hours, but if you didn't know how to.
Oh yeah, if I didn't have any tutorial, there's no way.
It'd be so hard.
Yeah.
So, like...
But we made the tutorial. So.
Exactly, and you know, it's not that difficult to build it. You have to learn how to solder, which I think for a lot of people is intimidating, but, you know, Crystal's picking up pretty quickly.
And I'm a girl!
National Women's Month. But yeah, so, and then flying is its own, like, hurdle. Like, it takes a lot of practice to get competent flying FPV.
I think also getting comfortable with the controller.
Yes. So there's, like, a lot of, like...
I hate picking up the drone every time I crash. With the GPS stabilization...
You don't crash.
I don't crash! And I get to keep flying, which is freaking sick.
And I feel like there's some purists out there, pilots-wise, that are going to say, bro, you gotta go fly acro. If you're not flying acro, you're not flying a real drone. That's not what it's about. It's about getting people in the air and enjoying the experience of flying. You know, like, you can ease into flying acro when you feel comfortable with the controller, you feel comfortable with the way the drone feels, you feel comfortable flying within FPV.
Yeah.
All those things are like barriers of entry for a lot of people. So this, I think, helps people reduce those barriers. So, you know, teach their own, but I think it's important that people get into FPV. It's an amazing hobby, and I hope as time goes on, the barriers of entry will keep going down. But if you don't get a Microhawk and you want a 5-inch, if you don't want to go straight for the epic stuff, I really recommend the CL1. Recommend the CL1 from Rotorite. It's a $200 kit. It comes with hype train motors. It comes with a 4-in-1 ESC.
And they also have a video.
They also have build videos and content on how to build it. And it's about the same complexity of this without GPS, but, you know, it's a proper 5-inch. And when you crash a 5-inch, you can damage more stuff. Although the CL1 is a really durable frame.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I think it's going to withstand your abuse.
Well, let me get used to flying. I'll start with the Microhawk and then work myself to that.
Okay, looking through.
That's
Noise Boys Garage asks, how do I get one and would it carry the air unit? Yes! Well, if you get the Microhawk and you want to do HD FPV, the Vista should fit on it. It's a 20x20 stack on the Microhawk. You just extend the standoffs and you can shove a Vista in it and still get about 15-ish minutes of flight time. So, yeah, we've actually been trying to get our hands on a Vista to test it, but they've been so hard to come by. And then how do you get it? So you can go to the outcastdroneworks.com website. We have the pieces available individually to build and buy one of these, but we also have a full kit coming soon. We sold out of the initial batch already. That's without really advertising. And we're currently getting more in stock, so you can, you know, basically...
When?
Soon! As the coronavirus allows us to buy more parts.
Really? As you drink a Corona.
But seriously, it's a little frustrating. Corona time.
Cheers.
So hopefully about 3 weeks or so we'll have, you know, more kits in stock. We're gonna be ordering parts, or already ordered some parts already. It's just a matter of shipping. And some of the parts are coming from the US, some of them from overseas. It's a mixture of stuff. But it has custom Outcast Droneworks motors, Cax Ratel camera, We have a custom-ish flight controller. Like, it comes pre-flashed and pre-tuned, which makes it easy for you to get up in the air. And a 20 by 20, 20 amp ESC. So, like, if you wanted to, you could take all the parts off of this, swap the motor, swap the frame, and build a 5-inch. Like, it's a pretty powerful little stack. I feel like this has turned into an ad for the Microhawk when I want this to be a podcast.
What's a podcast?
What is a podcast? We're losing viewers.
Oh god. It smells like sardines.
I keep going back and forth between the questions and chat and topics, and we're about 40 minutes in.
We're trying to find me an FPV name.
Yeah. So we literally went through a list of like...
I got started because of you.
Yeah.
Obviously. I would have never known anything about FPV.
And and so like...
I didn't even know this like hobby existed before.
Yeah, so FPV's been around for like 10 plus years now, but it's still very niche. I think it's because, again,
this
it's
is
really...
underground.
It's still pretty underground.
This is underground stuff here. That's why I need a gangsta name.
And when does the band play? We actually have people playing in the background right now. Turn it up! So yeah, getting your FPV name, it's weird, because you kind of want to pick something that either fits you and or invokes flying and kind of something that you want to be. And so I think you chose, after days and days of searching...
I don't know yet. I want to just be like Fartbox or some Fartbox
or
FPV.
Burp FPV.
Yeah, I just want to be something like a stupid name. Life, you can't take life too serious.
That's true. Like originally,
you have to have fun.
What do you mean?
have to have the fun.
You picked your name. What are you talking about?
I haven't picked my name yet.
Well, she was thinking about Madame Butterfly.
No.
You don't like that name?
I wanted Bob Boople Nipkins.
Bob Boople Nipkins? Oh, God. That's a horrible name. And so it's hard. It has to be a personal thing. I mean, honestly, Bob Boople Nipkins might be your new name. If you want to see her and go by Bob Boople Nipkins, leave a comment in the chat. I mean, I chose Zoe FPV because I didn't... Originally, I actually went by the name Hexanair. I had a website for Hexanair.
Hexanair?
Yeah, because I used to play hexacopters. Hex and air.
Okay.
Also, it sounds like sex in air, which I thought was cheeky.
Hexanair?
Hexanair. Also sounds kind of cool and royal and stuff, right? And then, after kind of getting semi-famous, quote-unquote, I had a lot of reporters talking to me, and they're like, what's your real name? And so I went by Zoe Stumbaugh. And so half the reports say, Zoe Stumbaugh flies drones. I'm like, well, they're not using my alias. So I changed my name to Zoe FPV on the internets. My channel actually used to be called Zoe Full Throttle because I used to ride motorcycles every day.
This guy says, seriously, name yourself Corona FPV.
That's too funny. And a couple questions. So I guess that's kind of the thing, that your FPV name has to be
Another
personal.
person. 2 people said that.
Corona FPV.
I think Fartbox is good.
Nipple Twister 9000. People are like, I want my automated micro. We have a couple questions. Someone actually donated $2 to ask this. Any instructions on how to link the Pi to the flight controller? Those are coming up soon. The Outcast Droneworks YouTube channel will have all you need to know on how to do that with video tutorials on how to make that work. We're currently perfecting the interface between the two. But essentially, you're connecting the RX and TX up to GPIO pins on the Pi, so you can actually get a telemetry link between the Pi and the flight controller. So the Pi will get your GPS location, the flight data, and then you can send flight data back to the flight controller to make it fly in directions that you want to fly, using Mavlink and or MSP protocol. So there's definitely ways to do it, and it shouldn't be too hard. And the idea is with the API that we're working on, / working with others on, is that you can use Python to program the Pi to actually make everything work. So
and hacking.
And hacking. What?
And hacking for the drone. There's gonna be hacking.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of like hacking like tutorials on
I'm
how
in
you...
the Matrix right now.
Oh god, we are drunk. To all 54 people watching, thank you for putting up with this. But yeah, a Pi S and Raspberry Pi. It's basically the size of the top plate. So this top plate can be interchanged with a Raspberry Pi Zero, and that has a full Linux computer. Meaning you could actually hook it up to a monitor and keyboard and use it as a full computer, but it's on the drone. So it's basically like a development kit. I mean, I see this as not just for every FPV pilot, but for people that want to make things and do stuff with drones in a way that's not going to be harmful. And it's, you know, like, you can crash this and not worry about it. If you have a bigger platform and you're trying to make it do crazy stuff with a maker environment, you might have a bad time. But this, you can just pick it off the ground, maybe change some props. Most of the time, you don't even have to change props, and keep going. So I honestly think a small platform like this is going to be great for educational uses and people out there that want to make the next great drone project on the cheap and easy. Oh, it also flies really good.
Sorry, they were taking pictures in the back. But it's so bright in here.
Yeah, we literally have
my god,
$1,000 of lights. We have two main lights,
My
some
eyeballs.
fill lights, we have a back light, we have the two lights on the back. It's very bright in here.
I'm legit going blind. I need to go to the optometrist after this.
Hildley Will says, will it run COD at 60 FPS? Sort of. If you use Steam Link and load up Linux with the Steam library, you can actually use a secondary computer to stream it to the Pi, and you can stream COD at 60 FPS Office, which is silly but fun. It will play Doom natively. Like, there's a whole like hacking thing. Will it play Doom? And people try to put Doom, the original video game, on stuff to make it play. You can play Doom on it, which is silly.
That sounds fun.
I kind of want to do as a video. I just don't know if anyone would watch it.
I'll watch it.
She looks like Roy Orbison with those sunglasses on.
Who's that?
I don't know.
Who is that?
I don't know.
Go to Taco.
Roy Orbison?
We'll look it up later.
Okay.
Probably a porn star.
Is it a porn star? Because if that's so, I am Roy.
So I guess we kind of covered your FPV name a little bit within the subject, and this has honestly been all over the place. This podcast isn't super strict on subjects. It's kind of us having fun, interacting with you, and talking about everything going on here at Outcasts, what I'm doing, what Crystal's doing, and talking about drones. So on that note, I think we've been doing pretty good so far.
Yeah. Do I have boogers?
Yeah, actually you do right there.
Where? Don't touch me.
Social distancing.
Here, let's do a spicy pepper
Okay,
challenge.
let's do spicy pepper challenge. So I guess the second subject is how to get an FPV.
The guy from Shameless?
Oh yeah, okay, that's cool. Or maybe we're shameless. Oh fuck, that's hot.
Spare fingers, everybody. Oh god, it's too bright. Fuck that.
Okay.
Oh, am
That's
I supposed
spicy.
to cuss? Can I cuss?
We have one F-bomb per episode. You used it.
Damn it.
Oh, we can't say that either.
What? What did I say?
Nothing.
Okay.
Moving on. So you kind of covered how to get an FPV, like your first starter drone. The challenges, which again I kind of went over a little bit. So we've actually been pretty much on topic. I guess the biggest thing that we haven't covered is flying experiences. And your experiences with getting an FPV. So, what are your experiences getting an FPV? Because like I think you started out flying the newbie drone. Like we went to newbie drone, we got
Yeah,
to
we
your
went
own
to Newbie
kit.
Drone. That was so much fun.
They're cool.
They're so cool.
Like I'm a newbie drone sponsored pilot, and I love what newbie drone does. Oh hey, there's a newbie drone.
What the heck? God. God.
we have chaos going on. We literally have a small audience back here. Next time I'll make sure we have a cam so we can switch back and forth between what's going on. But yeah, the newbie drone guys were really cool. If Crystal would show back up to talk more about her experience.
Oh my God. I'm coming.
Drunk Zoe is best Zoe.
Yeah!
So, we went to newbie drone. Like, honestly, my whole thing is like, if you get a whoop, you can fly it indoors really easily. This is still a little bit big to fly indoors and really enjoy it, unless you have a really big house.
I mean, the only thing is that I do crash a newbie drone a lot because I don't know how to fly. So the Micro Hawk with the GPS really saves
Especially
my...
for outdoors.
Yeah, outdoors. I mean, you can fly it inside, kind of, right?
Kind of. I wouldn't really recommend it because the newbie drone.
If you don't want to ruin your stuff.
Yeah, so newbie drone has ducks, so the props are protected. So if you hit stuff, it bounces off. If you hit stuff hard enough, you will kind of crash this. So, whereas, pluses and minuses to everything, my biggest recommendation for most new pilots is start with a newbie drone kit. I really like their kit because their goggles and transmitter, for $200 plus newbie drone and batteries, you get everything you need, and that goggle and transmitter can actually be used with other stuff. So once you actually grow out of your current newbie drone kit, it's empty. But yeah, newbie drone activate. So yeah, this is the newbie drone setup. This is a whoop. A lot of you watching probably already know what this is.
That was my first experience flying.
And this actually, I know the history of this, so I know why it's called whoop. I know how it came to be. So back before we had FPV cameras on a drone like this, there was this thing called the Inductrix from Horizon Hobby. And Horizon Hobby created this little inducted drone. Didn't have FPV, had a little canopy, and you'd fly it on a site. It didn't have acro mode, but it was pretty fun. Then this guy, Jesse Perkins, aka Mr. Tiny Whoop, he was a member of the team Big Whoop. And he put a little all-in-one camera on top of the Inductrix and started flying it around, and it caught on. Like, Horizon Hobby had a bunch of the Inductrixes in stock before. They sold out within like a week. And then they had a back order of like a month. And so you could barely get your hands on a quote-unquote Tiny Whoop. And that was the birth of the Tiny Whoop. And since then, it's created its own category of drone. You have Tiny Whoop races all over the country in bars, small locations indoors. San Diego even has its own brewery races.
There's one coming up, right?
Yeah. I think they're like every Friday or every other Friday. So, Tiny Whoops.
Saved you some.
Ew. I can't believe I just did that. Tiny Whoops. Tiny Whoops are really cool. And I gotta say, Jesse Perkins is an innovator in this hobby. If you want an official Tiny Whoop, go to tinywhoop.com. I personally fly the Acrobee from Newbie Drone. Newbie Drone has a few different, variations of the quote-unquote Tiny Whoop. Oh god, this is really salty.
That's what she said. It'll know your disease.
Oh god, it's like a female version of Rick and Morty. Hey everybody, my name is Rick. This is Morty.
Turn me into a pickle, yeah?
A pickle! Morty, I'll turn myself into a pickle!
Tiny Whoops are a charming hazard. Said no one to yesterday.
Oh my gosh. The loud girl is her psychic. Am I the loud girl or is she?
Yeah, you're the loud girl.
I'm your psychic?
Yeah, you are.
So you're like Rick? Oh geez, Crystal, what are we gonna do?
You already know I'm a doctor.
Inside jokes.
I am a doctor.
She is not a doctor.
Doctor.
Fart.
I was gonna say something else. From I don't know.
Anyways. Tiny Whoop, that's a good one to get.
So yeah, I started with the Tiny Whoop.
And then, because when I started with FPV, there wasn't a Tiny Whoop. Didn't really have small drones. The first thing we had was like a 5-inch. And that was back in the days of a guy called Blackout. And Blackout was like the first ever carbon fiber mini quad frame. And I actually started with the Hexacopter, which was a 6-motored version of his quadcopter called the
Insert
Spider
picture here.
We don't have that technology.
Okay.
And the Hexacopter at the time was really cool. I thought it looked amazing. I saw
What
Alex.
does it look like? Can you draw a picture for me?
It's like this, but with 2 extra motors.
Really?
I'm loud. Oh God, she is Rick. So the Hexacopter took me like 3 months to build. And
Why?
Because there's like no real tutorials. There was no build video. And this is how you build it.
It's like Legos?
Wasn't really like Legos.
Dude, Legos have like no instructions.
Every kit you get with Legos has
The ones
instructions.
I got yesterday had no instructions.
Pac-Man?
But yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, I've got coronavirus. Oh God.
fucking gross.
Don't drink Corona, everybody.
Do you need another Corona?
Yes, I need another Corona.
Alcohol kills the coronavirus, so bottoms up.
We're getting to the end of this, and for those that don't know Crystal, 'cause again, you might just be joining us recently. Crystal is my coworker, a dear friend. I've traveled a lot with her recently. I've been trying to get her into drones.
I've been getting into them.
Yeah, and you've had an easier time than me in a lot of ways. Like when I got into it, I was stuck in bed with a lot of medical issues. I was basically stuck playing video games, and when I saw FPV,
What are you talking about? This is all like still happening. He still do all those things. She's don't you?
Punch the shit out.
Point being, I couldn't even sit upright. I built out a workbench that went over my bed so I could actually build drones. And the first time I got my drone working was actually in a hospital.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I was recovering from a surgery. And so, for me,
They let you have a soldering iron in the hospital?
at that point in time, I was actually learning how to flash the ESCs because every time I tried hovering the drone, it would fall out of the air.
so what drone were you using?
The Blackout 290 Spider Hex. So it was like, you know, pretty
Okay.
big. It had 6 propellers on 5-inch. It was a lot of drone for a first-time builder. And I was using ESCs that were meant for much bigger, slower moving motors. So every time I would try to take off, it would desync and fall out of the air. And so at the
In the hospital.
No, at home. And then
So
I
you finished the build in the hospital.
finished the build in the hospital. I got in contact with this guy from Rotor Geeks. He's a maker of drones up in Canada. Really cool dude, really cool website. If you're in Canada, go to Rotor Geeks. And he told me, hey, you need to flash the ESCs to BL Heli because you have more options to change the settings. And I was using this thing called Simon K at the time. And Simon K, you couldn't really change the settings of it like we can with BL Heli. So I changed to BL Heli, and at the time, we didn't have active braking. And for those that are getting into drones, you're probably like, what do you mean active braking? But active braking is the ability for the motor to actually put power into it to stop it spinning quicker. And essentially, when you try to stop the motor spinning, it would just like free spin down, so it's very loosey-goosey. So I reflashed it to BL Heli, added active braking, and the first time I got it running properly was in the hospital. Just hovered off the ground a few inches without it failing, because every time I'd hover it, just like fall there. So for me, that was pretty big. And then from there, I would go to the park about every other day. I had 2 batteries, and I had a cane and a helper. And, you know, someone would put the drone down for me. I'd walk over to a tree, lean over on it, and fly for a couple packs. And
What the hell?
yeah, I did that for like 3 months. So, yeah. And FPV was my life. It was like,
You hear this music with your
I know,
smoking?
right? FPV was
This
my
shit's
life.
serious.
And in a lot of ways, I'd say it saved me, but it did. It got me
Yeah,
back into the
definitely.
world. Because I was super depressed at the time. Like, playing video games is one thing, but like I lost the ability to ride my motorcycle. I lost the ability to work on my motorcycle. And so my hands were just idle. I know a lot of people that have gotten into FPV for a lot of the same reasons that I did. So, for me, it was awesome. even though it took me about 6 months before I could actually really fly a drone, it was worth the journey. And I started out flying little toy acro stuff, but it was nothing like a proper FPV drone. But yeah, that was my journey into it. But nowadays you have newbie drone stuff, you have, 2-inch drones, a lot easier and safer to fly. And you still have the 5-inch options, and they work a lot better now. Like, there's tons of videos out there on how to build drones. Tons of, content and,
And Zoe's making her own content now.
I'm making my own content.
More content. Even more. It's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm actually working right now on getting a couple editors to help me make more content on my own channel. And then I'm starting up the Outcast Droneworks YouTube page to make content just for Outcast Droneworks and the stuff we're doing here, which is tutorials on how to use this drone, how to use it for hacking, all the, Raspberry Pi stuff. So there's a lot of cool content that I'm working on to make possible. Airheaded Aviator asked, Zoe, did you start with goggles or a screen? Goggles. Fun story with that too. So I backed the original Oculus Rift DK1 on Kickstarter.
What the hell?
Yeah, like old school VR stuff.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
I was really into VR back before I got into FPV. I've always been a VR nerd. And so VR came out and I got my DK1, I saw FPV and actually sold my DK1 for more money than I paid for it at the time. And bought FPV goggles and started my journey into FPV. So yeah, goggles have always been a thing for me. Big Data Pimp says, Zoe, it was sick to rip with you guys at the farm the other week. I finally ordered some 3D props. Gonna try it at least once. Right on. But yeah, so that was my experience with FPV, getting into it. I know I probably said this in like other videos, but I don't really talk about it much.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've ever really told you the full story.
Not the full story.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about standing against a tree.
Yeah. No, it was pretty intense for me. Like, it was really hard to get out of bed at the time.
Like it is now.
Right, I oughta.
Zoe, it's 11 o'clock. Get out of bed.
Oh god.
Get out of bed.
I'm gonna push her over.
Push me.
So on that note, I think it's time for us to do an outro. It's been an hour. Oh god, no! Keep that away from my finger.
Zoe, try
No!
it. Come on, I believe in you.
Oh god, no!
Crystal, you said you were going to do it.
What? Just one time, Zoe.
You have to hold these in.
Okay, you ready?
Oh god!
America!
Thank you all. That hurt. Thank you all for being a part of the first ever Outcast Droneworks podcast. I've been Zero the FPV. You guys have been awesome.
I'm Crystal.
Check out her Instagram.
You never picked an FPV name for me. Fartbox FPV. Catch me.
Check out my content on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. You can find all the links to me in the description. And, what the hell is she doing?
Fire!
I thought I smelled burning. So yeah. Go have fun, guys. Go fly some batteries. Spring is almost upon us. Flying season is here. I love your guys' faces. And until next time, I've been Z to the FPV. This has been Crystal.
Fartbox FPV.
It's gonna stick.
See you guys next week.